He also supposed that if somebody killed him, they'd get no profit from the deed, none at all, especially not some half-drunk, weak-sister cowardly red with a scalping knife. The best secret of all was Hooch wouldn't need no torch, and he wouldn't need no fuse neither. Why, that fuse didn't even go right into the gunpowder keg, if the truth be known. Hooch didn't want a chance of that powder going off by accident. No, if Hooch ever needed to blow up his flatboat, he could just sit down and think about it for a while. And pretty soon that powder would start to hotten up right smart. And maybe a little smoke would come off it. And then, pow, it goes off. That's right. Old Hooch was a spark. Oh, there's some folks says there's no such thing as a spark, and for proof they say, have you ever met a spark, or knowed anybody who did? But that's no proof at all. 'Cause if you happen to be a spark, you don't go around telling everybody, do you? It's not as if anybody's hoping to hire your services. It's too easy to use flint and steel, or even them alchemical matches. No, the only value there is to being a spark is if you want to start a fire from a distance. And the only time you want to do that is if it's a bad fire, meant to hurt somebody, burn down a building, blow something up. And if you hire out that kind of service, you don't exactly put up a sign that says, spark for hire. Worst of it is that if word once gets around that you're a spark, every little fire gets blamed on you. Somebody's boy lights up a pipe out in the barn and the barn burns down. Does that boy ever say, "Yep, Pa, it was me all right"? No, sir. That boy says, "Must have been some spark set that fire, Pa." And then they go looking for you, the neighborhood scapegoat. No, Hooch was no fool. He didn't ever tell nobody about how he could get things het up and flamin'. There was another reason Hooch didn't use his sparking ability too much. It was a reason so secret that Hooch didn't rightly know it himself. Thing was, fire scared him deep. The way some folks is scared of water, and so they go to sea. And some folks is scared of death, and so they take up grave digging. And some folks is scared of God, and so they set to preaching. Well, Hooch feared the fire like he feared no other thing, and so he was always drawn to it, with that sick feeling in his stomach. But when it was time for him to lay a fire himself, why, he'd back off. He'd delay. He'd think of reasons why he shouldn't do it at all. Hooch had a knack, but he was powerful reluctant to make much use of it. But he would have done it. He would have blown up that powder and himself and his pole boys and all his liquor before he'd let a red take it by murder. Hooch might have had his bad fear of fire, but he'd overcome it right quick if he got mad enough. Good thing, then, that the Reds loved liquor so much they didn't want to risk spilling a drop. No canoe came too close. No arrow whizzed in to thud and twang against a keg, and Hooch and his kegs and casks and firkins and barrels all slipped along the top of the water peaceful as you please, clear to Carthage City, which was Governor Harrison's highfalutin name for a stockade with 100 soldiers right smack where the little Miami River met the Hoye. But Bill Harrison was the kind of man who gave the name first, then worked hard to make the place live up to the name. And sure enough, there was about 50 chimney fires outside the stockade this time, which meant Carthage City was almost up to being a village. He could hear them yelling before he hove into view of the wharf. There must be Reds who spent half their life just sitting on the riverbank waiting for the liquor boat to come in. And Hooch knew they were specially eager this time, seeing as how some money changed hands back in Fort Duquesne, so the other liquor dealers got held up this way and that, until old Carthage City must be dry as the inside of a bull's tit. Now here comes Hooch with his flatboat loaded up heavier than they ever saw, and he'd get a price this time, that's for sure. Bill Harrison might be vain as a partridge,